It ain't all doom and gloom, but there will be doom. Alright. Last time around, got around to getting my second colony. Very exciting. Gonna take a little while to build, and thinking about it, maybe I should have made heavy industry before refining, but gonna want both of them eventually anyway. Oh, hey there, Billy. How you doing? I'm doing good as well. Hopefully it stays that way. Alright, just kinda staring at this now for no reason. How about I get to doing stuff? Such as... they want to get some more battle cruisers. Also thinking... gonna retire to cigarette. Just seeing a lot of discussion online that mentions it's kind of boring. It's kind of too easy. That being said, I am gonna be taking the Hungering Rifts I stuck on it and probably move it to one of the Odysseys. And I could update the Doom also. We'll leave it as is for now. I think the Mint will be the one with the Hungering Rifts on it. I'll give it 2. If I could fit it. Hell, maybe 1's good enough. Maybe. Not sure what else I'd rip off here other than Flux Distributor maybe. Yeah, actually, do that. And give it a little test run. Not much hard flux buildup. I guess it doesn't need it. It has to stay away, hit him with the laser, and keep spamming the red. Another thing I just remembered, there's not much synergy between the Thunderhead and all the laser weapons I have on here. Maybe I get rid of that too. Yeah, no one's gonna be winning this fight anytime soon anyway. Alright. Bit of the Thunderhead. Maybe attack you on Lance. Give it a try. Does have field modulation. Could stick the flux distributor right back on there. I think I'd rather just have the 15 points in capacitors rather than any of these. Give it another test run. Definitely not the best for a one-on-one. But it doesn't really have to be. But it can fight it to a stalemate. Alright, give it a different test. $80 points worth of Pavers. Tearing up the small stuff pretty quick. Kinda surrounded right now. Whooping the shit out of that guy. Field's about to go down. Eradicator's nearly toast. He's ignoring it. There he goes. I'd get more out of the high intensity laser for this. Heifers don't really have good shields, so almost certainly. There's just the annoying guy left. And the job's done. Okay, same test with the laser. Wonder if giving it a third rift would be a good idea. Probably run into the projectile limit a lot faster. Target priority seems to be a little confused. Just ignoring that eradicator when it would definitely have been dead twice over by now. There it goes. Nearly dead, but he's still in the fight. Got rid of all the other ones. Slight exception. Very slight. Alright. Another thing I want to try. Stick a couple of Ziphos in there. Ziphos, whatever it is. Give it another laser. Wait. Oh no, wait. I already have the advanced turret gyros. Okay, yeah. Try double laser. definitely doing a significantly better job of keeping all the small shit off the flank. Not really surprising, but it is effective. The ion beams on the Zyphos are keeping the Eradicator away. Alright. No, this works. Still think maybe it should have a double paladin like it had earlier. Yeah. Leave it as is. Change it later if it turns out it sucks. Still thinking maybe I'm better off just getting rid of the Thunderheads entirely. And I don't have whatever the third shrouded hull mod is. Maybe I should go fight the Dweller a bit. Get some of those. I'll leave this one as is. Do remember these guys not quite performing. Same with the Furies. How's it behave with the Autopulse? It'll probably overflux like instantly, but I want to see. Well, he overloaded him. Didn't really get to do anything with that. And now he's getting the shit smacked out of him. Yep. Bad plan. But just for reference. See if the same thing happens with the Tachyon lands. In fact, that was kinda pathetic. Could give it a triple paladin. Maybe switch out the fighter for something better. Not sure what. Could give it a cobra. Test it out. How bad could it be? I'll just immediately whiff the first shot. And it's down. Whiff the second shot. Absolutely melted that. Didn't even get to shoot the third one. Not gonna be able to get away from these guys, I don't think. Does he hit? He does. Oh, that's at least a slight moral victory. Alright. Clearly not gonna work. What if I give it some Ziphos? Ziphos. Doesn't necessarily have to win this fight, it just has to be able to not get overwhelmed by all the small shit flying in. She definitely does better with the triple paladin setup. I already got more kills with this loadout than all the other ones. That thing equipped with threat weapons? No, it just vaguely looks like it. Down it goes. Alright. Not ideal, but nothing ever is. Since this one has an officer, it should do a lot better. Should. Let's see how much better. Definitely doing a better job of keeping distance. So far. Oh no, I was being so conservative with the tachyon. Alright. Seen enough. I'll just leave that one as is. The Furies, I think I'm just gonna outright retire. Actually, if I scuttle them, I think I get the S-mods back. As in the points. You'll also receive 150% bonus experience based on the S-mods you've built into the hull. Okay. So I'll eventually get the points back. think I'll bring along the champions for now. Know I complain about them all the time, but I have them. Might as well use them. Everyone's already assigned. Okay, we'll do that for now. I do have enough money I could just go over to Cullen. Go buy as many more Odysseys as I can find over there. Right, had all the gates scanned. And I just have to go over there. I'll start by going to buy some stuff. Before I leave, could stick around for a little bit and then stick the, what's it called? Catalytic core into the refinery. Just have to wait 4 days. There we go. Upgrade the spaceport. Build the way station first. Already making ground defenses. And cryo revival, and the patrol HQ. There. Don't have to worry about that for a minute. Bunch of stuff going on over here. Not sure I like that. Evers. This should be easy. Yeah, bring the Aurora. $28 points. Yeah, bringing in another Anubis. Most of them over to the right. Uh. Think I forgot to switch my combat skills around. Just missed him. Relentless. Everyone else seems to be doing alright. Or I was just not really paying attention. Guy's getting swarmed. Everyone else is doing okay. Maybe not that guy. Rora's getting surrounded, but I think he'll be fine. Bunch more eradicators over there. They're converging. Smacked right into it. Do it again. Hell yeah. Tragic. Pretty much everything they have left is all around me. Just have to prevent that last one from running away. Mission accomplished. Yeah, we're not getting him. Claim a victory. That's the group that was there, and those guys. But I know there's one that slipped right past me. Get over here. Send in the old slot. B. Stick and mint. And the monitor too. I should get more monitors. there's another one. Think that one's running away. Basically already at the cleanup. And the rest of them are running. The Luddic Church wants to speak with me. I'm sure they'll be perfectly reasonable. Accept the calm request. We Knights of Lud greet you. Blessed are we to serve as guardians of the faithful in the volume, protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Lest those meek who benefit from our holy travail, travail, fall into greater hardship or worse. We Knights require of you a simple, voluntary tithe of 296 supplies to support our good works. How about no? Tithing is, of course, a matter of personal conscience. The knight's tone grows dark. However, we claim right of induced charity in this matter, as the lives of faithful are in present danger. Our eyes go hard. Sooner would we die than allow our flock harm. Indeed, it would be dreadful sin to withhold food from the starving, shelter from the freezing, and succor from the ill. She gazes slightly upward, eyes unfocused. Let Lud's hammer find my one hand, and the sword the other. I will do righteous battle to defend the faithful. The knight's threats are far from subtle. Up, power up weapons. Alright. How about bunch of champions, bunch of Anubis, and the Aurora? Not sure if I want to set myself in once we've got a couple of points captured. Since the, whatever that ship was, not terribly well armored. Does have a lot of firepower, but if he wants to use it, has to get in range. I think these guys have it handled. See if I'm wrong. Oh, there it is. Approaching fast. Fighters. Aurora's going in. And right back out. Alright. I'm going in. Aurora got blown up. Should. Yep. Take that guy down. Alright. Doesn't have terribly much point defense on the back. Compared to the front, anyway. Say that like I'm not always calling this thing the IKEA wooden cabinet. it goes. Now, thinking about it, since I've got the demod removal thing, I can probably get away with letting some of my ships be a little more aggressive than they otherwise would want to be. Attacking forces have been defeated. Not gonna have to worry about the pathers for a little bit. Alright. Back to what I was trying to do. Actually, since I'm here, 79 days until refining's complete. Okay, should be good to ignore that for a bit. Are there any upgrades I wanted here? Yeah, not really anything to upgrade. Could keep going this way or go up over the other way. Let's try up. Conveniently placed neutron star. Alright. You have good shit for sale. And there's a couple of Auroras available. I'll get 1. See what the flashily dressed man wants. Creation of a Zyphos wing blueprint. Sure. Then there's the academic with the tripod. Turns out to be a scientist. Well, maybe a scientist. And is delighted to have someone finally listening to his story. Set your face to a practiced, stern but receptive look as you hear his pitch through to the end. The data doesn't lie. He cries again and again. Though you can't make sense of the arcane tables scrolling on his greasy tripod. There's an enormous stock of unrecovered domain-era technology in this system. No one else can see it. All I ask is... His voice drops to a whisper. You retrieve for me the AI core hidden in the midst of that trove. That I get to keep. I'll tell you exactly where to look, if you agree to my terms. Yeah, sure. Now I have a special crate. Go check out Yokobre. Still not sure how I'm supposed to pronounce that. Woman disappointed with commodity traders. Wants drugs. Nah. Don't think I have any on me anyway. Could get myself a Tempest. Yeah, get one of those. Not sure how I want to outfit this. How about I just make something annoying? Sure could make it faster. But that's probably good enough. Oh hey, you're finding new ways to get around my word filter. Be gone. I forget. What did I have over here? Built-in scatter amplifier, stabilizer shields. Hardened shields, shield conversion front, integrated targeting unit, and an unstable injector. I will build in the stabilized shield. And maybe the shield conversion. Alright, give this one a fun name. Gonna name it... other one's oven mitt. So how about I name this one... Cork. Give it a quick test run. Don't expect it to win this one. Let's see how long it lasts. Well, it is utterly failing to make a dent. Alright. Immediate first revision. Get rid of the optics. Stick a couple of ion beams on there. Could make it a proper missile boat. Out of annihilators. Think I can just buy one. More points for the missile rack. I'll keep the proximity charge launchers and go back to salamanders. But if I go with that, then I don't really need the expanded missile rack. I get it anyway. Place all of these with mining lasers. Stick the annihilators right back on. Could leave the annihilators unlinked. Make him less effective, but it will make him last longer. Okay, same test. Aren't even here yet. Alright. Clearly, this is not a good setup. This is also not a good setup, but I'm wondering how it's gonna do. It's gotta be something I can stick on here to make it actually work. Now this would probably work better if the ship had any damage output. Since it doesn't really right now does it? Technically, it got one kill. Technically. Alright, setup sucks, but I left all my weapons at home. Stick those on there and it'll be good enough. Now the Tempest. Should be a lot more straightforward. Alright. That's that done. Head back over to Galatia. Tell them I scanned all their gates. Well, the gates. Can't help but feel like I'm forgetting something. Just go straight to the provost. Bear taps at her desk console. The gate scan's completed and Dowd's assurance that the hegemony will not interfere. We may proceed to the implementation phase. Provost allows herself a small smile as she turns to you. This is Scylla's moment, of course. Let me link her in. Provost Baird, Captain Max Friday. Quarters greets you. Explain the Janus device, Baird says. For the captain here. She looks nervous. The prototype device, she begins. Yes, in the broad strokes, to scan for the gate aperture, we direct a self-modifying phased hyperwave pulse, which causes a resonation in lower dimensions which... She looks up from the projected schematic and notices she's losing her audience. Let's skip ahead to the application section. Schematics flicker through several labyrinthian arrangements and settle on an action flowchart. Here we are. Principle of the Janus prototype is similar to the scanner, but far more energetic. By tuning the pulse to the unique resonant signature of a particular gate aperture, one might, theoretically, activate that link. The second input would then target a known gate egress. Though avoiding destructive interference in the Calabi-Yau manifold is tricky. So, doing this is going to open the gate network again? Baird cuts in. Not exactly. Thank you for your attention to detail, Scylla, but if I may summarize, at this level of energy input, a temporary link should be created between two gates. The provost gets a distant look. Then, with sufficient energy or unstable resonance injected into the entire gate system, this time, Cooters interrupts. But the data, it shows that the resonance, it is fundamentally chaotic. There are clearly some factors. We're seeing the results the model doesn't account for, and at higher magnitudes, the results could be. She searches for words. Some way to bind chaos and destruction into quantified language. That's enough, academician, Baird says forcefully. The captain is a highly skilled professional and doesn't need to hear all of this to do their job. You know, standard insertion of a non-standard device into the gate network, yada yada. Academician, what exactly does chaotic mean in this context? Baird turns to you, leaving Cooters cowed. Academician Cooters will return to work refining the details as more data is gathered. As a great man once said, technological advance is an inherently iterative process. Captain, she says. First prototype Janus device is being transferred to your fleet. Test it on the gate manifold you have scanned. Record everything with your sensor suite and the modified instruments we've provided. This may be the most important experiment in the history of the Persean sector. The manifold, of course. Hooters speaks up one last time. Just don't use it in an inhabited system. Like the incident when Calicor, the hegemony, it wouldn't be good. Thank you, Baird says acidly, for the reminder, academician. The provost turns to you now. Obviously, we shall not repeat my predecessor's mistakes. Test this somewhere quiet. She turns from the holodisplay, a dismissal. I await your results, Captain. Baird terminates the comms. Right then. Sounds easy enough. Nearest gate is the one right over here. I'm sure any leftover remnants, if I left any here. Yeah, there's a bunch. But yeah, I'm sure they won't mind if I accidentally explode their giant metal donut. Kind of a lot of solar activity near it though. It'll be fine. Scan the gate. Command display shows the hyperspace manifold. It is calm and cool. Scanning beam flares in the hyperdimensional display. Spirals and ripples spill and burst from the gate, surging into inconceivable geometry. You hear a wisp of faint music. Scan complete. Activate the prototype. You know immediately that something's wrong. Hyperspace manifold display lights up with garish colors in violent whirls and jags. Representation's color key glitching out on parameters beyond any anticipated scale. You hear a discordant tone. The hyperspace storm alarm, weirdly sounded here in normal space. And something else. Echoing somewhere which exists only in your mind. like a wail of pain. Your sensors officer shouts a warning. Wavefront approaching. Kaboom. Damn. That's gonna cost a lot of supplies. Well. Come on. Enable define course. Huh. And I think they're mad. Your fleet approaches the jump point. Jump point is unstable and cannot be used. Until it restabilizes, hyperspace is only accessible via transverse jump. Oh. It opened. Also, there's remnants. I've got a couple of ships that aren't banged up. Seems like a pretty easy fight. Great. You. Go kill. That's more like it. proximity bombs are working pretty decently, but definitely want something other than just 2 ion beams, as far as damage is concerned. This thing's not a terrible support chip, but don't really need more support chips with all the Anubises I already have. Red jump point seems to have opened. What it looks like, but not what it says. Alright. Transverse jump. Repairs are done. Now it's just combat readiness. Right. I think this is a good point to go have a little break. You fill my glass. Empty the bladder. Anyway, we were back. see what they have to say about the magical exploding space donut. The station comm was connected to the office of the provost with no delay, and her navigation officer forwards the link to your command interface. She was waiting. Tell me what happened. Baird's tone is cold as vacuum. Quitters is already on the link, looking paler than usual. You get the distinct feeling that the provost knows very well what happened. There was some kind of error. Accident, if you want to call it that. Yes, an accident, Baird says with a derisive snort. The prototype failed, nearly catastrophically. A negative result, however dramatic, is still a useful data point, which can be used to correct our errors. Baird turns to Coureurs. Academician, when will the next iteration of the prototype be completed? I don't, she starts. We need more time. Academician, Baird begins. A warning. Coureurs interrupts. I'm a theoretician, not an engineer. This isn't a matter of just fitting pipes or aligning agraph plates. What we're doing is completely new. Our engineering process is primitive. We're scientists trying to assemble the equivalent of a new hyperdrive in a teaching workshop. Not only are the facilities insufficient, the project application falls outside my expertise. Baird visibly calms herself, but beneath her collected facade, something seethes. You do realize, the provost says, that I am holding several hegemony ministries at bay. They're rearing to storm and purge the Galatia Academy. Again. All I have on my side are the good graces of the Hivescov hegemon bickled out. That is only held up by the sector-shattering promise of what the results of this project could mean. If I don't get results, the lucky ones will live out their days in some oubliette near the core of Kodo. Her icy glare shifts to you for a moment. At least the captain here had the good sense to perform the failed experiment in a remote system. I'm sorry you're having trouble, she says, without a trace of apology. But I am accommodating the conditions circumstances have provided. So, by all means, Scylla, take your time. Baird finishes with icy sarcasm. Cooters starts like she wants to speak. What? Baird says. Is it? I need Elisa Zal, Cooters says quietly. Who? Says Baird, her patience for excuses at an end. A friend, an engineer, the best hardware wizard I know, I've ever known. Except she's, in trouble. It's a long story, but when we knew each other back on the Western Nest, there was... Baird interrupts the backstory. Captain Max Friday. Get Cooters' friend, if she thinks that'll help. Do whatever it takes, she says. Bribe, blackmail, kill. I do not care. Be smart and be quiet about it. Get a new prototype before you find this Elisa Zal character. We'll try that route. If not, carry on. I don't want to know the details, because I do not care. Academician Scylla Cooters. The provost's withering attention shifts like a pulsar beam. don't want to hear a single non-actionable complaint until you have a new Janus prototype ready to deploy. Captain Max Friday will run any of your little errands. Now, the Provost concludes, I have a meeting with a very prickly hegemony inspector, and we're both going to pretend that we know nothing about what just happened out there. Both of you, get off my comms. Friendly as a cactus. Hooters appears on the comms display. Captain. Hello. She takes a deep breath. Thank you for contacting me. Sorry about everything. Provost Baird, failed experiment. I shouldn't have never gone ahead with it when I wasn't absolutely certain of your safety. Yeah, I know. Okay, she says awkwardly. Wooders shakes her head and takes a deep breath. So, about finding Elisa Zell. I think we need Gargoyle in on this conversation. Let me, She taps at her datapad. Gargoyle appears in a flash. Scylla, girl, where have you been? The goons won't let me into that lab anymore, so I stuck in when they were changing shifts. Your bright but stylistically sedated friends told me you were in some kind of an important meeting. So I thought, how important could it be if I wasn't invited? So I had to ask Alvis what was going on. Can you believe it? You know how he is, all stammering and trying so hard not to lie or say anything against the old witch, and the hacker pauses, taking in Cooters' demeanor and yours. Oh, this is about the experiment and the exploding, isn't it? Queen Bee wasn't happy about that, huh? Not really. Yeah, says Cooters. No, she wasn't happy, but what's important now is that we found Elisa. Sal, Gargoyle interrupts, looking pleased. Yeah, you know her? Cooters looks confused. Oh yeah, but please, I must apologize. Gargoyle says magnanimously. I have interrupted your story. Go on. I don't want to spoil anything too soon. Cooters recovers her composure. Okay, yeah, so I've actually been in contact with Elisa off and on. Maybe, the captain here knows about that. Problem with Elisa is, well, she's being held sort of prisoner by Kanta. Gargoyle nods enthusiastically at this revelation. Can you elaborate on sorta prisoner? Well, she's allowed some contact with the outside world. Privileges? Obviously, I guess, due to our arrangements, but that's all been through Kanta's organization, and then through whatever pirates owe the Kantas a favor. When Elisa says, drop this instrument package in this orbit, if Kanta's behind her, it gets done. Elisa can sneak some things past Kanta's people. Her work is beyond them by a long shot. Hooter smiles with pride at this. But it's risky, and getting riskier. Kanta's a bit, She flutters her hands, trying to figure out how to express it. Her reactor's a bit leaky. Gargoyle, I feel like you might know something about what's going on. Oh, no, Hacker says. But yes, a little here and there. I mean, how could I not? Sal has a reputation. She's the Sal. It would be a delight to assist in another Sal scheme. You can tell from the way Gargoyle says a reputation that this is a sign of great respect from someone who does not respect easily. What do you mean exactly by another Sal scheme? Did I say that? Says Gargoyle, failing to look innocent. Fine. Yeah. Another. Remember hacking the Aslan relay? Hacker puts on a wistful look. Sal really pulled through for me on that job. Alright. So how do we get Sal out? I can get you in, Gargoyle says deliberately. You know, to talk. Find an angle. I think that might be how to do it. I may have worked with someone who, twist my arm. Yeah, it was Kanta's, Gargoyle counts off a few fingers. Dwarf cousin's grandnephew or something. There sure are a lot of Kantas, aren't there? Very busy, the Kantas. Point being, I may have acquired a digital token that'll get you an audience. Without getting shot on sight. From there, well, you also have a reputation. Tell Kanta you'll do some work for her. You're a hot item in the dark hypernet. What with everything you've been up to lately. Is hot good in this context? Gargoyle taps at something, and her datapad chimes. Up to a point. There's hot and then there's radioactive. Right now, you're definitely hot, but you'll want to be careful about reaching critical mass. Yeah, we certainly don't want that, Quitters adds. But this is wonderful. If Gargoyle can get you a way in, then you can somehow get Elisa out. Maybe make a deal. I'll do whatever it takes. Don't have a lot of credits, but if it would help. Think we're gonna need a better plan than ask nicely. I've been keeping an ear out, says Gargoyle. You know, keeping a finger on the pulse of the sector. Basic responsibility as my role as the top-of-the-line security consultant. Standard stuff, really. Keeping the hegemon out of the networks here only takes a few minutes a day. Clean the logs, update the firewalls, stir the ice. I could do it in my sleep. Curious mind like mine needs some stimulation, right? Yeah, alright. What's your point? Kanta's really mad about something, Gargoyle explains. Some gang of paffers took something precious from her. She's putting out a call for the best mercs and captains. Maybe you'll answer it, the hacker says with a small smile. Quitters nods enthusiastically. Yeah, that could work. You'd be perfect. Alright, so Kanta wants something found and returned. I could do that. Best of luck, the hacker says. Be sure to comms if you need anything. The academician looks pensive in the face of this bon ami. Thank you, Captain. You won't regret helping Elisa. I know it. And there's also always the backup plan of just blow up the station and then run in there with a whole bunch of Marines. Do have a lot of them. Maybe too many. Wants to sell volatiles. No thanks. Sell some of the Marines here. Another bunch over at Epiphany. No one else has any good prices on these, I don't think. Actually, surprisingly, my planet has a good price on them. Yeah, that's kind of far away though. Oops, I bought. Nearly have all their demods removed. Well, this one does. That one still has 4. This guy wants me to blow up something in Nova Maxios. No thanks. Extract of a subject from a Persean League planet. No thanks. Alright, gonna go see Kanta. Oh hey, the refining's done. And there's a metal shortage. There's the option to just erase it out. I did that last time. Felt like I was kinda skipping a quest line. Alright, let's just try calling directly. That'll definitely work, I'm sure. Request cycles for a minute, then routes to a different link. The vid feed flickers to life. A wash of static and audio distortion receding as your datapad adjusts for outdated comm protocols. Yeah, who are you? 2 Thompson snarls before bothering to glance at a grimy datapad. Ah, he grunts, dropping the datapad with a clatter. I see now. You ain't nothing, are ya? Got a colony or two, have you? Got business to talk? let's just get straight to the point. Send the digital token over. Hit the send command and the token's transmitted. Instantly, you see the pirate's face change expression. Oh, family, huh? Didn't recognize your face, Cap. You don't got the family look, but the Kantas, they're everywhere, huh? Let's hells. Should've said something before I got off broadsiding you. You know the drill. The warlord doesn't like comms. So I'll have to make you an appointment with the court. Get your boots on station and I'll have someone meet you. That sounds like a great idea. The pilot goes through routine chatter with what passes for traffic control. At the point that control asks for the standard bribe for a good landing slot, you have comms control forwarded to your datapad. Yeah, who's this then, shuttle? Control crackles. Gonna buy me lunch or do you like waiting? Your boss already gave me the go-ahead. Shall we comms them about the delay? Confirm that, shuttle. Negative to request. Traffic control says incoming shuttle cleared for landing at Bay 12. Proceed. And we dock. You leave 4 guards and the pilot at your shuttle. 2 more guards follow you, and the pirate lieutenant sent to meet you nods that this is correct. You're led through a primary access corridor towards the center of the station. You adjust quickly to disjointed aircraft fields, an effect you suspect is intentional, as ranks of pirates of all shapes and ages eye you up for weakness, murmuring crude comments and jostling for prestige. Keep on walking. You can almost pick out a pattern of relations in their faces. This is a family business, and in their anarchic uniforms. They're bedecked in prizes, modified combat armor plated with gold and gems, stolen high-end vac suits redone in off-brand colors, tritachyon neck scarves crudely knotted, ostentatious luxury wear. They wear their wealth on the outside. The more garish, the better. Past pitted blast doors hung with a crimson skull banners, a large bay opens. The lingering acrid scent of energy weapon discharge hangs in the air, almost but not quite concealing the odor of rotting meat. You're brought before what can only be described as a throne, tastelessly backlit in a blood red for maximum effect. The caps, badges, and insignia of various naval officers are impaled on fused blossoms of trophy weapons. You recognize Kid from all of the polities of the Persine sector. Above all, is the hissing, frumming figure of warlord Horian Kanta. More machine now than human. Her face is a mask. What skin you can see is leathery, like the rad scarring of old spacers. A synthesized voice booms from the throne. Submit before Kanta. Over her, a strange, small man hunches. He wears some parody of a doctor's surgical garb. You had best kneel, the doctor hisses. Probably be kinda difficult to shoot my way out, but I ain't feeling it. I ain't kneeling. Stand. If a broken Atmos scribber could laugh, it might sound like the noise that comes from Kanta. A stander, she shouts. Note that her guards remain relaxed. We like you. Ahead you would kneel in the mud, because all they know is following, groveling. You stand like a spacer. Her head tracks you. Kanta will hear you. The small doctor steps forward and clears his throat and says, I am Dr. Sidonia, personal assistant to the warlord. Sidonia nods, stiff-necked, the tiniest hint of a bow, then addresses you before the entire court. You bear a token of Kanta's kin, Nashion, who is of the outer family. But Nashion never gave you this token. I checked. Now, the guards react, leveling their weapons, not training them on you yet. Kanta speaks again, raising a gauntleted arm for emphasis. No, the family is safe, so we will not take your blood. Not this day. Lucky you, the doctor whispers, smiling, then speaks louder. The great warlord is wondering, why would a thief dare show their face before Monte Kanta? The warlord makes an art of correcting those who hold the misguided belief that they may steal from her. Spindly arm extends to indicate something piled in the dark around Kanta's throne. Round shapes in the shadows. A glint of ivory. Not interested in whatever your deal is. I'll waste no time. I'm here for Zal. Dr. Sidonia pulls back, shocked at your directness, then glances to Kanta to gauge how he should react. He scurries up her throne to whisper in her ear and listen, satisfied after a short conference. The doctor stands forward to address you. Great Warlord is intrigued by your knowledge of her queendom, Sidonia intones, relishing the drama. When the outer family and the great Kanta's watchful subjugants from all across the sector whispered about the cleverness of the Captain Max Friday, their words were no mere neutrino ghost. His voice darkens. But here your journey comes to an end, Captain. Such insolence. He motions to guards who raise weapons. The warlord will. With a clank, Kanta herself stands, and her amplified voice drowns out Dr. Sidonia. We see a predator, a hunter, a trickster, a warrior. We see a weapon. We would wield you. The cowering Dr. Sidonia licks his lips and turns back to you. Her ruthlessness would wield you, he admits. Then addresses the court. Glory and riches flow to those who the warlord so honors. Thy payment will be Zal. Sidonia hunches forward and speaks quietly. Simply access? Or no? Your demand is the whole of the person. Kanta went through much trouble to acquire that asset, and is loath to give it up. But his eyes twitch, accessing cybernetic implants. We understand that your abilities are exceptional, and you have access to, high places, special technologies. I may be able to convince Kanta to let you have the asset, if you serve well. Just... Kanta's voice booms out again. Bring me back my pet Loke, then Zal is yours. Blood for blood. The path recalled Cotton will be taught Kanta's justice. Alright, Cotton. He seemed like an alright guy, but if I gotta kill him, I gotta kill him. Sidonia cringes at her demand and smiles apologetically as he steps back to address the court. The Great Warlord will have her pet returned. This, Max Friday, this will be her champion, where all others have failed. He leans close to you, smelling of vinegar. Sidonia speaks quickly and quietly to you, eyes flickering with words and images only he can see. Brother Livewell Cotton, a rising star of the Ludic Path, based out of the planet Epiphany in the Alcabar system. Generally, it could be many places, however. One of his cells kidnapped Kanta's pet, a clone of the former warlord Onesimos, Loke, and my creation. She wants her pet back. No one else has managed to track Cotton down. Jeez. He frowns, hesitant to reveal something, then gives in. She's obsessed. It's made things difficult. Do this and you may relieve me of Zal as well. That meddling tinker. Kinda want to ask for a guarantee, but not exactly the one holding all the cards right now. I can just accept the deal, and then if they backstab for me, I can blow up their shitty little station. So it's a deal. Ignoring your words, Sidonia turns abruptly to the court and gives a shrill cry. It is agreed. His captain will return the Great Warlord's pet Loke. Watch now and be educated. This is how you serve the Great Warlord. Kanta claps once with her gauntlets, like an airlock slamming shut, and stands. Noise erupts from the court. Sidonia retreats to her side and guards step forward to lead you away. Your hearing before the Warlord's court is over. As you are led away by a trembling, bruised man held by two power-armored goons. Or no, wait. Read that wrong. As you are led away, a trembling, bruised man held by two power-armored goons makes pleading eye contact with you. His audience is next. You are led back through the supplicants and courtiers, shuffling figures gleaming crimson, chrome, and gold. Many eyes fall upon you. You feel their hate as Kanta, or is it Sidonia, wields you like a bludgeon to shame them. You have an angle at least, dubious though it may be. Brother Livewell Cotton, Epiphany, the clone of Onesimos Loke. A pirate captain, tattooed with skulls and festooned with bandoliers, shoves past you mumbling about bootlickers. Your guards tense, but relax as the pirate and their entourage proceed. They're posturing, not looking for a fight. Despite Kanta or Sidonia poisoning your reputation with the pirates at large, they won't dare stand in your way while you carry out the will of the Warlord Kanta. Right then. Just have to go bag me a terrorist. Wonder if I should get more supplies. It's probably enough for now. Let me just have another sip. Get the feeling there might be more talking. Alright, continuing. Could just do a raid to go grab the clone. But let's ask around about Brother Cotton. Get the weird feeling this is probably not going to be easy. But let's do it anyway. You begin with the time-honored conversation starter of buying strangers around to celebrate a good haul. It's a hard sell here. Off-worlders drink their vices furtively, maintain a thin veneer of ludic deniability. You focus instead on the unbelieving Epiphany natives, who regularly work with starfarers, casually inquiring about import-export business opportunities, understood by all to be a roundabout pitch for a smuggling job. You ask, by the way, have you heard of a Brother Cotton? Invoking this name kills conversations like an EMP. One table mumbles excuses and leaves their untouched drinks, fearful that you're an informer, an enormous fool, or both. Watch yourself speaking that name, one old ore pusher tells you, taking a long draw from your gifted drink. I know folk who crossed him, and they ended up dead. He's got eyes and ears everywhere, clever enough to bend the tech bands to his advantage. You know, most true believers? Cowards, pulling a con or got their brains adrift. Not him though. Nah. He's made the path his own, and he knows how to use it. Well, he finishes the drink with one long gulp. This'll be you then. And scuttles off just as a trio of burly thugs in mining guild uniforms approach. They look like a friendly bunch. Next round on me. We reject the guilt bribery of mammon, says one of the heavies, spinning at your feet. The others look similarly uninterested in your offer. What's our brother's good name doing in the mouth of this heretic? The first one says to the others. Might be we have to remove it ourselves. Try not to start a fight. I'm here to talk. Cotton'll know me. The lead heavy's resolve wavers, and he turns to his left. The backup pulls out a chunky device, a handmade comms unit, and mumbles a query. It emits a scratchy, distorted response. Whatever was said, it must have been good news. The heavies visibly relax, and the leader, now more suspicious than hostile, says, Brother Cotton would parlay. Be here to meet after next shift. I'll wait here then, sipping my drink. Your leader nods wearily, and the pack retreats to their own table. Can feel their eyes on your back. Well, when in Pepper territory, have some tea. You station yourself in a nice, solid corner. Back to the wall, good sight lines to exit. Your guards unobtrusively follow suit. The tea arrives shortly and the server makes no small talk, eager to not give the impression that they have any association with you. And we wait. You note the change of shift as chronometers and tastefully obsolete datapads notify the working regulars, miners and spacer crew, mostly. They finish their drinks and stumble off to their assignments. The proprietor sets down a bottle and approaches you. "Hear me, I beg," she says. "I've nothing to do with him or his. You can't refuse them here, Captain." She glances toward the table with the heavies. They're watching you both, very closely. "I was told the back room. He's waiting now. I saw nothing today." Oh, fuck it. To the back room we go. There he is. We have another sip. The private room is austere, dim, but for the spot of a paper lantern cast on the figure sitting facing you. He raises his face as you enter and holds a hand out to welcome you to sit. The sparse decor and furniture have the solid handmade quality of true Luddic crafts, and you know the set could be sold for a good price on any number of the core worlds. Brother Live Welcon stands and smiles as you enter. "Captain Max Friday," he says. "It was my pleasure to hear that our paths would cross again." He gives you a knowing look. "I pray you have meditated upon our previous discussion. Won't you join me for tea? I offer it to you, my guest, with the safety and hospitality that I've been blessed to provide." He notes your hesitation and sits first. "Come along in your own time. I'm no scorpion, I do assure you." Well, if he just wanted to kinda shoot me in the back of the head, he would have done it already. So let's have a seat. You sit with Brother Cotton, notorious Paffer terrorist. Cotton arranges 2 plain cups and tests the temperature of the teapot. "Now, I do know why you are here. It's no great coup of the secret whisperers and listeners why the warlord Horian Kanta has been sending a most diverse company of ne'er-do-wells to bring myself to an untimely end and, be it convenient, claim back her ungodly creation." He pauses, then adds, "Though I must offer my apologies, I most assuredly accept..." No wait, I was reading that right. Let's start that phrase again. "Though I must offer my apologies, I most assuredly accept yourself from the company of those ne'er-do-wells." Now, let's be honest. Despite hired killers coming for you, you meet me with tea. Why? Tell true. If I met you with hammer and fiery sword, would you prevail? Cotton nods generously. Might be you do. Then, what would my brothers and sisters have died for? The clone? He takes a moment to sip his tea, and, finding it hot, blows on the cup. It serves our holy war that Kanta not forget about the path. Or, no wait, said that wrong. Serves our holy war that Kanta not forget that the path is all around her. Ephemeral and indomitable. Killing is not victory. He smiles wryly. Not always. Now, this does seem uncharacteristically non-violent, considering the other pathers I have to deal with. Khan sets his tea down, smile gone. I confess to you that I did not always seek victory over killing. Given battle, I choose to destroy my enemy over defeating them. In time, Blood Spirit showed me the true path. I humbly submit and step away from that younger man's rage, when it serves our holy war. Hegemony tacticians and the thinking machines alike make the same mistake. They think that we who walk the path can be defeated if we are measured, tracked, numbered. Our beautiful holy war is not a mathematical calculation, but the soul of humanity. What we fight for cannot be held in databanks and logbooks. He looks at you carefully. I am certain that now is not our time to do battle, he says. We walk a path, you and I. And here it crosses, but it does not end. I know not, but that I must have faith. Sips his tea. It's good now. You should have some. I would if the dialogue options gave me the option, but I'm gonna have to ask another question. So, what do you even want with the clone anyway? If, you seem so opposed to his very existence. You know the histories of the great and terrible warlord, Onsimos Lok. Yes? Once a grand officer of the domain. Khan looks distant. The Knights of Lud stood den of the hegemony, standing with pride against Rav. Was that the path? This abomination is a sad copy of Onsimos Lok, concocted by so-called Dr. Sidonia. He is a sick man, and to please Kanta for reasons I do not understand, he made a sick joke of the miracle of life. Still doesn't really explain what you plan to do with him. We were just gonna look at him as an abomination. Why even capture him? Why not just kill him? So what are you gonna do with the clone? I had thought its death would be a demonstration, just as a healer excises a cancer. But as I held a gun to its head, my hand was stayed. I felt this was not the path. Did I pity the thing? It is rare indeed that I do not find moral clarity in the execution of a heretic or abomination. Khan shakes his head, disturbed that he did not want to execute a man. I gave it into the care of some siblings of the faith. They taught it prayer from the book. It appears to think and to feel. I wonder if this is a lesson in humility. Imagine, to look upon the Creator's work, and then this bloodless thing. Oh, despite everything, they didn't ask me to kill you, either of them. They just want me to bring back the clone. Yes, Sidonia. Some mercy. You have met him, I know. Is he not strange? I cannot imagine a more wretched creature, accepting his creation, the Loke thing. Sidonia is a liar to the end of space, and even the sacred becomes sin when it is left his hands. He find occasion to bring his life to an end. I do believe it would be a good and righteous deed. Khan sips his tea. And Kanta. If the Loke thing started less than human, Kanta has lowered herself to that sorry state by her debauched pursuit of wrath and immortality. Brother Khan takes another slow sip of tea. She is a malfunctioning of the machinery of the hegemony, an obsolete hazard to be cleared away like the self-mines she's wrapped around her fortress. And in your opinion, why is this clone so important to Kanta that she would send so many people after it? Let me have another sip before I read. What now sits on Kanta's throne of blood and gold is abject to the teachings of blessed blood. He taps his fingers on his teacup. Though a warrior cannot be ignorant of his enemies, I confess that I am not inclined to gaze too deeply into that monstrous abyss. Shall I debate an AI core? Shall I ponder its heart? No, because it has no heart, no soul. It is a thing. Kanta wants her abomination. This is all I need to know. Cotton meets your eyes. And you will be the one to give the abomination back to her. Gotta be some kind of catch. But just gonna give me Loke? That's it? Yes, he says, his eyes unblinking. It has no path here. Its presence is raising questions which ought not be asked. So you will take it from my people and go. That is unexpected. By both of us, I tell you true. I have prayed long on this matter, he says, bringing his hands together as if in demonstration. Once, long ago, I was in a prison cell. I heard a music like the Holy Pneuma, from afar, a choir of angels. My heart leapt to be touched so. Eagerly I listened closer, and in not a blink, it was gone. For just a moment, I was touched by grace. Do you understand? My life turned on that point. I found the path. The music did not return, so that was my one moment, I thought. It had confirmed my righteous calling, and that was enough. For years I heard nothing. I expected nothing. Then one day, not too long ago, he speaks haltingly, looking troubled. It did visit upon me again. His voice is soft now. That was the day I was told you were to come here. What am I to make of that? Brother Cotton stands. I cannot say whether it is a choir of angels or a host of demons, he says. I fear not pain, death, or judgment. I do fear to stray from the path. He adjusts his coat. One of his minions opens the door and the clink and murmur of the tea house returns. My people have already brought the abomination to your shuttle. And as if on cue, you feel an urgent buzz from your comms. Go there now, with Lud's peace, he says. Once outside the tea house, you duck into a dark corner where the local vice squad is unlikely to spot you engaging in flagrant use of technology. You confirm via comms that the clone Loke has indeed been handed over to your waiting shuttle crew. You return to your shuttle and get the full but short story from your nervous guards. A squad of paffers appeared, shoved the strange man into their hands, and then they left. Get in the shuttle. Inside, a couple of confused-looking Marines are watching Clone Loke eat a simple meal of space rations, wrapped in foil. As you approach, Loke looks at you curiously, dropping the foil packet. With a bland smile, he says, "Lud bless you. Together we will walk on the path." You tell the Marines to let him finish his lunch before escorting him to the brig for safekeeping. I am kinda curious. Loke, do you want to go back to Kanta? Loke smiles. Some green thing from the ration is still stuck in his teeth. Yes, I will go to Hyorian, he says excitedly. I will tell her about the path. She will like it. Well, good enough answer for me. Let's go. Go around the big blue marble. Just in case. Quick save. Your nav officer calls your attention to the bridge display of the local volume. What passes for traffic control around Kanta's Den appears to be non-operational. A comms request blinks suddenly. Warlord Kanta appears. A masked face atop a throne draped with the trophies of raids and conquest. Beside her, of course, is Dr. Sidonia, who begins to speak. Ah, so, Captain, do you return our dear Loke? Kanta booms over him. I do have Loke for you, but first, Sal. Kanta laughs inhumanly. Ah, says the doctor, licking his lips. I'm afraid it isn't quite so simple as that. You've not pleased the Grey Warlord Kanta sufficiently for her to simply give you her prized tinker. Well, don't remember that being part of the deal. Tactical whispers in your ear. Captain, detecting stealth mines arming. Sparse envelope, or sparse envelopment of fleet. Damage outlook, checking, moderate. They want to show they can hit us. Kanta's voice rolls from the comms. Kanta wields, and it is Kanta who orders. If we give you a gift, it will be only at our pleasure. You must learn. Yes, yes, Sidonia agrees. You must learn. Kanta has for you another task. Complete it without complaint, then perhaps you may win back her favor. After such an outrageous... Zal joins the line, interrupting Sidonia. I've decided to take Captain Max Friday up on that deal, Zal says. Her voice sounds close, as if she's speaking from inside a vac suit. Captain, I'm outside your flagship now. If you would please open the bay doors. Shock washes over Sidonia. Impossible, he says, and turns to some minion. Check Zal's quarters, now. Kanta's voice roars painfully across the comms. Call my fleets, destroy the... Cybernetic visage crackles in a wash of static. Comms feed 0 and 1 interrupted. Zal's image flickers, then holds steady. I took the liberty of injecting one of Gargoyle's tricks into their network. She smirks. Would you mind letting me on board? It won't take them long to get a signal out. This volume's gonna be swarming with pirates very soon. To say nothing of the stealth mine network. Open the pod bay doors, ops. After a tense minute, security reports that they've brought Zal aboard, along with a large equipment case. At your orders, your security chief provides her with a ship's comm unit. I owe you one, Zal says, and I think I can repay you shortly. But first, you're gonna wanna get out of the South Mine network. I think you have something Kanta values more than taking revenge on you. Or me. Alright, 2 choices. Toss him out, or toss him out with a helmet. Fuck it. Give him a helmet. Security confirms your order. Captain, your tactical officer reports. The stealth mines have disarmed. We're clear to disengage. Zal speaks up. Kanta will call her fleets. They usually loiter in nearby hyperspace. They'll come through the jump points, then straight for us. We've got a way to get out of the magic system without a fight. And you hear a smile in her voice. A new equipment case I brought on board. A fully operational Janus device. This is gonna work correctly this time, right? It won't be, says Zal. I promise. And besides, if it was, imagine the hammer that would fall on Kanta. Yeah, fair enough. It's not like they can blame Galatia on it this time. Course locked in, Captain. There's a fleet. Just pirates, though. I'd probably beat the shit out of them. We'll just leave. Oh hey. Pirate. Let's open the comm link. See if they have anything clever to say. The open comms line crackles. After a moment, Emma Anderson speaks. Wait, someone actually answered this thing? Not really sure what to say. Usually they just fight or run. So, which is it? Fight. It's a very impressive looking fleet you've got there. It's definitely overkill, but rather get it done quick. The orbs approach. Think we're good to go for the kill order. Last one left. There we go. Strange. For some reason, he engaged me with a single dram. Or maybe he didn't. Either way, here he goes. Right, scan the gate. Fan display shows the hyperspace manifold. Blah blah blah, the usual stuff. Gate is scanned. And I discovered the rhythm of the secret heart of the thing, hidden in a slip of space. With your permission, Captain, Cell says over internal comms. I'll jury-rig the Janus device into your flagship's hyperdrive. Hook it up. On it, she says. Takes mere minutes before your chief engineer reports that integration of the Janus device to your hyperdrive system is complete. Device is ready. Your navigation officer reports. We can traverse the gate, sir. At your order. Alright, Nav. Activate the device. Hyperspace manifold pulses coolly, then again, warmer. It is working. Your officers operate with collective cool, but you can feel their tension. You're about to do what no one has done for over 200 cycles. Distant keening touches your mind. You instantly review your command status displays. No hyperspace alarm, no system alerts, and no one else reacts as if anything is wrong. It's just in your head. An animal in pain. You try to concentrate on the sound, and it slips away. Hear the thrum of life support, the rumble of engines, the soft chorus of the bridge consoles, and your officer's humanity. Everyone is watching the pulsing of the gate. Access executive control. Alright. We could go right over to Galatia. Or I could go back to base, go get some supplies, and then go over to Galatia. Yeah, gonna do that. And here we are. Definitely need to get one of those over here. Goddamn Knights of Lud are bothering me again. We Knights of Lud greet you. Blessed are we to serve as guardians of the blah 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 blah. They want supplies. Fuck you, I'm not giving you shit. We'll go in with all of this. seem to have decided to fly their capital in alone, with no backup. Well, technically there is, but you know. And there it goes. Oh hey, it's the brig. Or cube. Whatever name you prefer. There's a lot of flak cannons. That's not where it's going. I have to bait out the flag canister. And missiles. There we go. What's left? Single mule. And the mule is dead. Don't have to worry about the colony crisis for another little while, but I said that last time, and I nearly missed PAF readers. Or PAF terrorists. Nice little 3,000 supply. And 5,000 fuel. Alright. Now that I'm here at my giant weapon pile, I'm gonna give this a proper loadout. Proper. Have a leftover rift beam. Stick the resonator on there. The rift beam. And the cryoblaster. Actually, put the resonator on this one. Antimatter short-range missile. Oh yeah, stick those on there. Rid of the shields. And the integrated targeting unit. Get some ECCM in there. $12 points left. If I free up a couple more points, I can put the integrated targeting unit back. Need another 3 points. Never mind a cryoblaster. And go up to 13. It's just regular old ion. Switch sides. Alright. Got a lot of speed, a lot of shields, and a lot of guns. But does it work? So do I have someone with missile expertise? Winnisk has it. He doesn't have as many skills in total. Let's see how he performs. 80 points worth of Paffers. Some fast-moving projectiles. Taking like no shield damage. Not really dishing out all that much damage. over on the side of the map. Which is where the AI gets a little buggy. Alright. Gonna change where the weapons are. I won't change what the weapons are. Alright, try this one. Obliterated that guy. Fast enough to play the keep away game. The ion definitely helps with that. Starting to look dicey. Taking avoidable hits. Alright, there's some issues. Get rid of the mining lasers. Put a real gun over here. And put the cryoblaster on the front. Well, let's try this. Pretty good amount of damage, that thing. Definitely a better choice than the ion beam. Those antimatter SRMs are crazy good. So I'm thinking, maybe despite having less skills, the officer with the missile spec would be probably better suited to piloting this. very avoidable hits because of flickering the shield when they really don't need to. Like right there. Why'd you turn it off? You have basically no flux buildup. I guess for the speed boost. And the AI is braking because they're next to the edge of the map. Whatever. Test successful. Still have helmsmanship, but they'd lose out on field modulation. Kinda sucks. Whatever. "20 seconds to reload. Reloads one at a time. Holds a max of 3. If the missile spec, double the ammo capacity so it'll fit up to 6 at a time. 25% more hit points, which I don't think is relevant. Not entirely sure. Higher rate of fire, irrelevant. 25% more weapon ammo regeneration rate. Think means it shaves off 5 seconds from the reload. The other thing I could do is stick Hungering Rifts on here. Take them off the Odyssey, of course. I want to test it. Alright, it's all missile weapons. Surely, it will work. Too busy trying to angle their shield to get in weapons range. Not using the antimatter SRMs, however. Alright, slight modifications. Probably shouldn't get rid of the hardened shield, but stick accelerated on there. just short. Right. It's probably good. Let's test it in a 1v1. Now, it should win this fight. Very slowly win this fight. Trying to stay at absolute max range. Kinda bad for a 1v1 fight, but great for supporting the fleet. So, stamp of approval. The Cork is ready. And this one. Give it a nice name. Gonna call it Fruit Fly. Give it a couple of burst lasers. And the salamander. Everything else, Terminator drone. But stick the expanded deck crew on there would make the Terminator drones better in a long-term fight. And I don't see a reason not to. Perhaps more important than vents for this one. Not gonna build in any mods just yet. Gonna use it for a little bit before I decide if I actually want to keep it. Alright. Still have 2 ship slots. I don't want any of those. Okay. Back to the gate. And back to the Galatia Academy. Head right on over. Not sure if it's just me or if it seems a little bit brighter in this part of the galaxy. Yeah, I'm sure it's normal. Captain Max Friday, Baird says. We observed your fleet come through the gate. It was magnificent. Takes a deep breath, looking up and away for a moment, then back to you. History has leapt forward for the first time in 200 cycles. Scylla, the provost says suddenly. She should hear this so she knows why I had to do all that I did. I'll link her in. Quarters joins the call, alert and expectant. Captain, she says. And, Provost. We've all been watching the feeds and I've been in contact with Elisa. Thank you, Captain. The Provost raises an eyebrow. Prompted, Quarters explains. Elisa built a working Janus device and gave it to the Captain. She's brought us the full schematics. I should like to meet this Elisa Zell, the Provost says evenly. Hello, Provost, Zell says. Finally we speak. I've heard so much about you. It's a small thing, but you watch as Baird suppresses first shock, then a flash of anger at her comms being joined without invitation. Elisa Zell, Baird says. You can almost feel her judging through the comm link. This is all very surprising, she says, off balance. Academician Quarters. Sal, we have much to discuss, but first get those schematics to the hyperspace labs. And Captain, the Provost addresses you now. If you would come directly to my office, we ought not discuss details of the next stage on comms. Fair enough. Take your shuttle to the Galatia Academy. Elisa Zell sits across from you, smiling to herself. Planning something? Zell meets your eyes. Always, she says. You enter Provost Baird's office, and she greets you with uncharacteristic warmth. Come in. Make yourself comfortable, she says. You note a bottle of something rare, and 4 crystal glasses on her desk. She taps at her console interface. I wanted to show you this before the announcement went public. She adds with sarcastic reverence, approval from the High Hegemon. With a flicker, the holoprojector beams an image into the large central volume of the office. Your flagship triumphantly exiting the gate. Drive aglow. Hyperspace bubble rendered in visible EM as a victorious golden aura. And this little show is only the first step, Captain. A link between 2 gates is momentous, but it means that so much more is possible. If we can open 1 gate, then we can scale the technology to open more. It will take nearly unimaginable energy and the resources of a sector-spanning empire. Baird brings her hands together, staring at the hollow, and taps her fingers as if to let off excess energy. Though the factions of this sector are weak, the bones of the domain are scattered all around us. Academician Simisola has located the derelict coronal tab, which could provide the energy required to, theoretically, mind you, open permanent links in the gate network. And if what Quarters' fears imply are true, the Provost's attention returns to the world around her. Where is Scylla? She was to report here after securing the schematics. Taps a key on her desk console. A touch of annoyance in her voice. Sebastian, have quarters and, yes, Enzel. Have them sent in. She shakes her head and gives you a see what we must deal with look. As she turns away, the comms unit chimes. She turns back. What is it, Elvis? Is she on the station or not? Stop stammering. It's a simple yes or no question. I see. She taps at the comms, the triumph draining from her expression. Security, find me Academician Sila quarters, and Elisa Zell. Yes, immediately. Top priority. Another tap. And get me that insipid hacker. Yes, I mean gargoyle. Just on comms. Well, at least I'm here. Have a little bit of victory while I can. With Baird's attention thoroughly and increasingly furiously focused elsewhere, you pour yourself a glass, sample the fumes, and sip. Some kind of brandy, eventide, judging by the label. Stylized arc of solar mirrors over a celestial orb. A fine vintage. Subtle, powerful, unexpected. You're beginning to suspect that this might be the highlight of the rest of this day. Gargoyle's face appears, projected over the expansive desk. Where are they? Baird demands. By Lud's 7 hells, I will sell you piece by piece a Tritac if you lie to me. The hacker goes very still, staring at the hissing crack in the bulkhead, threatening to collapse into vacuum. I do not know, Gargoyle says deliberately. I did not assist them in some scheme. Though perhaps I did. But I never said it was their intention. I simply provided tools they requested. Codes, programs, advice. So you helped them, Baird shouts. For the protection I provided, asking the High Hegemon himself to overlook your crimes, you repay me with this treachery. Gargoyle holds up a hand. No, you... Look, I admit I suspected something, but I didn't ask. You gave me explicit instructions to fulfill any request. Anything. Made by Scylla. You can tell the hacker is repressing an impish smile. I have the recording. Do anything Cooter says, you said. But I don't want you to ask any more inane questions. I believe those were your exact words. Baird slams her hands on the console, terminating the link. Her personal comms chime, then chimes again. She picks it up. Speak. She listens for a moment, then clicks off the comms without replying. Her hand trembling. She removes her spectacles and you hear a small snap. She turns away, body rigid. Have you a knife for me too, Captain? Baird stares out the window, broken spectacles dangling from her hand. An opened gate. Your fleet poised triumphant in flight from the cascading hypervortices of its great maw, spins slowly and silently in the holoprojector. Lots of choices for what to say. So many choices. So, about getting paid. She sighs. Sebastian, she says wearily. We'll handle it. Fair enough. I'll be going then. The heavy wooden doors give at your touch, and you step through, surprising the guards in mirror-faced helmets. The waiting room of courtiers eyes you spitefully. What business does some upstart rocket jockey have that's more important than securing their legacy? You step through the airlock doors into the shuttle bay. Very stars at your fingertips. Alright. So I think that's the end point for the current story missions. It kind of implied that there's some stuff to do with a coronal hypershunt, but not in the game yet. At least I'm pretty darn sure it isn't. And anyways, I really need to go for a piss, and it's been nearly a 4-hour stream. Well, more like 3.5 hour, depending on how you like the round. Anyway, I am gonna be going. So hopefully, that was a good stream. Like to think it was, but I don't get to decide now, do I? But enough with the rambling. Gotta go. See ya.